And we are alive with Joey, episode 9 today, and a little different guest than normal, I think. A very special one, and my dad, Hubert. Hello, welcome.
Hi.
I can't believe you actually said yes to this.
Neither can I. This is vodka, so it's all good.
Yeah, it probably should be vodka. I probably should have some too. I have no idea. My eyes are just still red. So I was telling my dad, this is a 2-year anniversary to the death of my dog Duke. We had to put him down, in 2020. So today is the 2-year anniversary of that. It was the hardest day of my life. So I had a good purge in the shower getting ready for this. But he was our first baby.
I was there. I was
that
when
day.
You put him down. It wasn't easy.
No, that was. I have all my our viewers saying hello, Hubert. So hey. I don't think you can see the comments if you're using your phone, right? You can't really see.
No, anything. I can't. It's probably just as well as the night goes on.
Yeah, they're like, why'd you have this guy on?
Who is this?
I had my little. I did my story. I created a story on Instagram saying, I have a very special guest on tonight, my dad. And I said, well, I'm sure we'll have awful jokes, bad puns, but maybe.
I promised myself not to do that.
Really?
So
I can't promise.
Be real quiet.
I can't promise. So I have bad ones too. I just basically taken on from you. Over.
You just call my jokes stupid and silly, but you do the same thing.
I think the jokes are generational trauma. It's this trauma passed down that we use this joke.
From having kids. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
So
you have to find some reason to smile and laugh when they got 3 rugrats running around.
We were good kids.
Yeah. No, you were.
We were the good kids. Okay, let's talk a little bit about. I just want to talk about life tonight, and I don't know where it's going to go. There might be tears, there might be some laughter, but whatever it is, what it is. We said when we'd go into this that we'd just kind of flow with it, like I normally do on this show anyway. But working on the farm, how is that compared to where life is now? Like how much change have you seen over? Even last 2 years we've seen in the world, but how much has life changed for you? Let's say in the last 40 years.
Oh my God. It's technology, I guess, is the biggest thing. Sure. Work is still work, but when I look back at how so I don't want to get into agriculture and explaining how GPS runs equipment now, but
we don't want you to get into that too.
Technology is the biggest thing that has changed everything, all our lives. And I remember getting my first cell phone.
I remember that thing.
The brick, the Motorola cell phone, by the way, kick ass to any phone that's out there today. The reception, the range was tenfold, but you have this antenna sticking out of it that's this big.
That long? No, it was bigger than that. Are you talking about the car phone we used to have, or was it actually?
Yeah, the plug-in car phone.
A little later.
Thing had range, and there's no cell towers back then, but they had a lot more output and a lot better reception.
It was literally a box of cancer-emitting frequencies, basically.
I'm still here.
Yeah, I know. But I remember that thing, and I do remember it being in our.
It's still up in my closet, actually.
That's hilarious. You should see if you can. You should see if you can get a credit from TELUS or Motorola.
No,
say, hey,
one day. That's probably all you're going to have for an inheritance anyway. So.
Oh, that's.
Well,
there's
it could be worth a couple $100.
Good to know, Dad. Thanks. Moving on.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later. Maybe another show. No, but what I thought it was interesting was we talked about. So we lived in a town. Man, how many people were in Saint Leon when we
150?
150 in the town, or the surrounding area? Yeah.
Town, maybe 75, 150 community-wise. Yeah.
Right. And, when I say grew up in a small town, people don't really understand what I mean. Like, I went to the same the same school as you did. And this building, the year I left that town, from grade 1 to 8, we were 28 students in all of
when I when I grew up and went to the same school, there was roughly 65 of us, 70 at the time. But families were bigger, farms were smaller, so there was more families, more families in the community. As things progressed, farms got bigger, families moved away, and families were smaller. There was, we had it went from roughly 75 kids to what 28. You said 28,
maybe less. Away.
And now it's gone and it's demolished, right?
Yeah. So I want to talk about that and the church, because I know back then, and even it wasn't even that far back, that the Catholic Church, especially in these French communities where we grew up, and the whole south of Manitoba was either almost Mennonite or French. There wasn't really much else from where I grew up anyway. But those French communities were basically run by the Catholic Church, were they not?
Well, the church had a lot of power, a lot of clout, and what the church said went. My grandmother would have never questioned anything the priest said at any time. There was no question. Priests were right, and they did basically, they ruled, and they oftentimes what they wanted.
Yeah. So you said
we've all read those stories, right?
Right. And so I know, and interesting. Okay. But you said something to me today that I was kind of blown away by. I knew how powerful the Catholic Church was.
About this today.
Yeah. You said Sundays, even if we were
worship.
The day of worship, even if we were in harvest season, because we were farmers, you're telling me that Grandpa or you would have to get permission from the priest to work your fields, to work your crops on a Sunday?
Yes.
That's mind-blowing.
Basically, they would only give permission if it was to harvest, or maybe to put the crop in the spring if it was really wet and, time was of the essence, and, it had to get in. So, yeah. Otherwise, there was no questioning you didn't work on Sunday. That was the rule till I was maybe early teens, and then things started to change where people said, I'm working. Yeah.
So with that too, because I remember even just in my childhood, things were closed Sundays. That was a thing for a long time. No businesses were open. There were no stores, no restaurants, the hotel wasn't open, the bar wasn't open on Sunday. And that only changed, I want to say, late 90s?
Probably,
yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Because there's this, I don't know what it is about that community. There's a lot of trauma in that town. There was a lot of shit that went down in that town. It's just, you know what I mean? With the schools being run by the priests and the nuns for how long? How long was it till they were out of there?
100 years. I remember the community centennial. I think it was 78. So I forget exactly the date, but I was there, and the church was still a very part of it. And like every religion, people aren't as church going and as God fearing as they used to be.
Right.
So there isn't even a priest in our community anymore. He comes in on Sundays for a service and goes back to.
There's a few communities that he serves then now?
We share. There's just a lack of priests.
Well, there's a lack also of, even that community now. How many people are in that community now? Roughly.
How many people go to church? Better yet. You might have a dozen there on Sundays.
Huh.
Where when I was a kid, it was full. It was packed.
So tell me this, you being, because I remember we went to church, but it was kind of like Sundays, most of the days when I was young. When I was young, it was every Sunday. Then I got to about 9 or 10, and I remember it was like, some Sundays you'd get to skip, and then all of a sudden I just wouldn't, I wouldn't end up going. And I remember there wasn't too much pressure on your part. But when it came to Easter, when it came to Christmas, and those are you're going. And I remember this was like we're going to these days. These are the important days. And I started to question a lot of things.
Yeah.
But you being kind of you grew up in the church. I don't know. Probably. Well, I remember you sang in the choir. You played guitar. You did a bunch of things with the church. How has your connection with God, let's say, or the universe, or whatever you want to call it now, how has that changed? How much has that changed for you over the last,
I think what's changed is people questioning the power of the church and the rules the church made and called it God's will or religion, right? Like not working on Sunday, day of the Sabbath, whatever you want to call it. And the priest telling you that if you do this, you're going to go to hell, or if you do this, you're going to go to hell. And if you read the Bible, you understand religion, that God meant it to be. But every religion has made their own rules.
Right.
And this is right, that's wrong. Whether you're Muslim, Buddhist, Catholic, or
yeah,
Muslim, it doesn't matter. I just find that most religions are about power, money, and if you believe in God and you're good, I think you've got a seat somewhere. You don't have to be part of a church or a religion. Just be a good person. Right?
So, what I was, and I 100% on board with most of what you're saying, but I want to know how your take has changed. Because I know you started meditating. How long ago? 3 years ago? You started meditating?
I don't do it nearly enough, but
not anymore. But I mean, you were meditating daily for, God, the better of a year, maybe 2, maybe not every day, but it was part of your routine. I mean, that's not something you would have been able to even probably get away with if you were at boarding school, at Catholic school, like you went to for a bit, or even just in your community, you start telling people you're meditating. So I kind of want to know how
back in the 70s, that would have gone over like you
or worse. yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think spirituality is more important than following someone's religion.
Yeah. So do you think that's just for you, is it a personal thing? Do you think you just
not just me? I think the world, people in general, are just, a lot of people have left their church because they see a lot of BS that goes on with whether it's this pastor abusing that girl or that. Right. There's been so much of that where priests have, I don't want to get into that stuff.
No, I get it.
And people have just, scratched their head and go, these are our leaders, our church leaders, the people that tell us how we should live. And, if you want to go to heaven, follow me, follow this. And today's generation, I'm probably one of the last generations that have been there and are no longer there.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like that fork in the road. And your generation, my children and their children, it's a whole totally different. I think meditation, spirituality has taken that over.
Yeah.
From the church. And is it bad? No. Is it better? I don't know, but it's just as damn good.
Yeah.
Churches, and still today, we live near Winnipeg, and there's huge churches that command and demand so much of income every week, every month.
Right.
And they're doing gangbusters. But I look at this and I go, I'm sorry, I can't be a part of that. And it's not about the money. It's demanding that if you make this much money, you have to give this much to the church. Right. And, the leader of this one church I'm thinking of has the name Springs in it. is going around and flying, in his own private jet from province to province here in Canada. He's got churches, I think, throughout Western Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one, because I mean, I don't know what to say, because I know what you're talking about, and I just don't know. It's like, yeah,
I just think a lot of people have got turned off from all of it. TV and evangelists, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But they still suck money, and I don't sound cynical, and religion isn't good, but how much money do they need? How many?
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. That's a tough one, and I know you don't want to ruffle too many
watches, and how much jewelry should their wife? What kind of car should they drive?
Right.
Jesus didn't have a Rolls Royce. Right?
Yeah,
and he wouldn't have had if it was today either.
Yeah, it's weird, because there's so many, like, and then you and I have talked about manifestation and the law of attraction and all these things, and it's like there's an abundance. Like, one of the rules that I feel like I believe there's an abundance for everyone. And it's like you wonder how these people, I'm not saying there's not some crookedness and some greasiness. I'm not, because I don't know enough about these people.
And I'm not putting everyone in the same boat either.
So
I'm saying this is what's turned people away from.
Sure. Absolutely.
Turned off. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the reason I got turned off is a little different story, but I don't know if I need to get into that on this show, because I already talked about it.
In there.
Yeah, just some weird, just weird stuff. And, and from there, it was kind of like, okay, well, if this isn't real for me, because I mean, we were taught the Catholic Church was the end all be all. It is what it is. These are the rules. This is how you go to heaven. This is what a sin is. And if you don't, go into, confession and, do what you need to do to get the pat on the back, you're good to go. You're screwed. It's like, okay, so there's this fear of God, like you said.
But I never gave him the juicy stuff at confession.
Well, no, but I gave him one juicy thing, enough for me to get fucking right turned off. But it was enough to be just like, what the hell did I just tell this old man? Like, why did I have to tell this old man this about myself? And then immediately go, oh, that was fucking weird. Like, it was just so weird. And I was like, well, that's it. I'm done with this shit. And I was done.
Maybe he was back. Maybe he's on the other side taking notes.
Nope. We're not going to go there, Dad. This is part of no.
I said taking notes. Don't
get
carried.
Yeah. Well, oh my gosh. Anyways, moving on. But it went from that.
Let's get lighter.
We're getting some. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, but from there it was more like, okay, well, screw this. Like, I'm not into this at all. Like, I'm done. And it had been years where I'd been questioning things and going, this doesn't make any sense. But then it was like, okay, well then now if that's not real, there's no God. For me, I'm 12 years old at the time. So I'm like, well, then maybe there is no God. And you start hearing about atheism and people not believing in anything. And, you go through this time, and adolescence is hard enough. You get into your teen years, you're going through enough stuff. Whether it's heartbreak from a girlfriend or puberty or anything else. And now this religion, your whole like reality is kind of shattered. So you're like, what the fuck now? Like, what the hell now? There's nothing. So you kind of go through probably my first dark night of the soul, is wondering what the hell I was, who I was, where I came from, where does it all go? Is there a point to anything? And then you finally start to go through your own journey of inner knowing, I guess, and having this feeling or this pull, or you get these messages, or these things fall into place, and you start to go, well, maybe there is a higher power. And as well as anyone, during some of my struggles, when I found meditation and found, call it spirituality, but it's just my inner connection with whatever it is, source, God, universe, stars, angels, I don't know. It doesn't really matter. They're all labels, but in the end, it's the same exact thing at the essence of, I think every religion, because these religions were founded on something.
Well, prayer is meditation, prayer. And I mean, we don't know the answer to that. It's carry on. I'm just the eye candy here.
Jeez, I can't. My dad messages me before this, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know if you got my agent's message, or I don't even know what you said about something about your agent. It was a bill or something."
The fees, yeah.
Then you're like, "Yeah, my makeup artist is here," or something like that. I said, "Man, it must have been a long day." Did you feed him?
Did you feed him breakfast? Yeah.
Did you even feed her breakfast? She must be starving by now. All the work she's been putting in. So, was there a lot of? Okay, well, let's jump into your to Catholic school, because I don't even know that whole story. What happened? How did you end up going there? And this is like in another province. How old were you, and what the hell happened, and how the hell did you end up in a Catholic boarding school freaking 900 kilometers away?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
Well, I think we were all hitting that age where we were starting to get into trouble. And every Catholic mother's dream back in the 60s, 70s, and before that was to have a priest in the family. So they'd send their boys to Catholic schools, which were run by religious orders, priests,
right,
nuns, etc. And
that just gives me the heebie-jeebies, man. I don't know what it is, but like the thought of that.
Some of it was amazing. The sports program in that school was top. Football, soccer, handball, tennis, basketball was huge. The sports facility was fantastic. School was okay, but at the same time, it could be very, very abusive. And you're frozen. Are you still there?
Well, I'm still there. You're
just like,
I'm just in awe. I'm just waiting for it now. I'm like, oh boy, I don't know where we're going, but it's going to be, yeah.
No, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just saying that there was physical abuse and other things that went on. And
so
yeah, a lot of kids went there for a year and didn't come back, right?
So can you touch on that? Like, is this stuff you saw firsthand? Is this stuff you heard about? Is this stuff, because I know it's hard to talk about, but like what was it like? Was it getting the belt, the ruler across the hands like you hear about, or is it worse than that?
Like closed fist. There was a father there. I can't. He's still alive, and he's still, he's from the community not far from where you grew up. We'll call him Father B, and he ruled. He was basically not what you'd call the principal of the high school, vice principal, and he ruled with an iron fist.
Legit.
And the guy had to be 230, 240 at the time, and we were all $120 soaking wet, and somebody got out of line, no questions. Just like, I've seen a backhand kids flipped backwards, after you got up, sucked it up, and moved on. And there was, there's other stuff that went on. I'd rather not get into, but
I don't think you really have to get into it for us to know exactly. Well, not exactly, but I have to have an idea. So this is in the set. Like we were talking about timestamps here. This is like 1974, 73, 74.
73, 74, I believe.
So it's 10 years before I was born. And I just can't, to me, it's hard for me to wrap my head around the idea that this, like I don't remember ever being hit, or even the threat of being hit in.
You know how many times I've looked at you and went,
yeah, well, that's different. But even you, like I think the biggest thing you've ever done was have the belt in your hand, slap it on your hand, and just scare me, or snap it.
I think I gave you one of these on the boat.
Yeah, but I always laughed at you.
It was never to hurt you. It's like more the shock of he hit me.
You didn't. The scariest thing you've ever did is just allow your eyeballs to pop out, like when you get mad.
Then
It's a look. It's a look that.
It's the only time. Guys would stop, look at each other, turn around, and walk away.
Yeah. It wasn't.
You knew I was pissed.
But because it didn't happen often. I think that's what it was with you, is like it took so much for you to get pushed to that level. And then when it happened, it was like, oh, okay, we're going to go now. But even then, it was never, yeah.
I don't scare people well.
No, you really don't. A few times. So you weren't the only one that went to that school. It wasn't like Hubert, you're going to the school.
There was Henry, Paul, myself, Guy, and Richard. There was 5. Oh, and another guy from a neighboring community. There's 6 of us that knew each other from back home.
Was that exciting, or were you like
scary? Hey, you're 15, and you've never been away from home, and you get put on a bus and see ya. And we made it home for Christmas and Easter.
And it was just that 1 year?
Yeah. I chose not to go back.
Was that...
There's things it wasn't all bad.
So this was Gravelburg, right, in Saskatchewan?
Correct.
Is this school still operational?
Yes.
Is it still a Catholic school?
No, it's not run by any Catholic order. No. But it is, I think it's a very sports-oriented type of school. I think they got a huge hockey program and other things. Big on sports, and it was when I was there.
Why'd you leave?
Homesick, I guess, probably.
I want to ask so many more detailed questions, but I know some things must have been messed up there. I just have this feeling that yeah.
Some things, yeah.
Yeah.
One guy, my best friend growing up, was there at the same time as I was. And about halfway through the year, he packed a bag and he hitchhiked home.
He what? He hitchhiked home?
He hitchhiked home. Sorry, man. He thumbed his way home. Trucker picked him up and brought him pretty much right to his door. Never came back.
Screw that. So let's talk. This is a tough one. Regrets in life. Do you have any? I know that's a tough one. This is what I'm telling you. This is raw and open. But if you look back now, because you're what, 62? 63. And I know there's no room for regrets. There's always that, I don't regret anything. You learn from everything. You grow from everything. But is there anything in life that pulls you in that, being like, man, I wish I'd have done this, or I wish I would have done that?
Well, I think in hindsight, we all have 20/20 vision. And I shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Yeah.
It doesn't cut it, right? I read something the other day a long time ago, probably 2 years ago. I read something that is so profound to me. As I don't want to sound profound because I'm not, but this is something that really stuck with me. Why look behind you? There's a reason that a windshield is so big, because you're looking ahead, not behind you.
Yeah.
Right? And to say, do you have any regrets? Who doesn't?
Yeah.
But I'm not going to beat myself up over, I should have never. There's things I should have never done.
Wow, yeah. I mean,
we all have those.
We all have that. Are there things you do beat yourself up with? Like, because I know there's some in my life where it's like, man, like.
I beat myself up. I beat myself up all the time. I'm the worst self-guilt guy you ever met.
I know that.
Yeah.
So, what have you done in the last? Because I know you've grown so much in your awareness of yourself. Because there's one thing I know about you, and one thing that I've taken on from that too, I think, and I've called you out on it. And this isn't a bad thing. It's just you don't know how to enjoy yourself. You have a really difficult time letting go. And it's not even about being present necessarily. I think maybe it is, but there's a part of you that doesn't allow yourself to enjoy.
Yeah, maybe it's from some past trauma. I should find a good hypnotherapist and see if we can pick that up. I don't know. But I want to touch on that. Joey can't hypnotize me. He can hypnotize me, but because he's so close to me and I know him so well, I could never open up.
Right.
Because I think everybody that's listening knows that being hypnotized doesn't mean you're a slave to whoever hypnotized you. You would never do anything hypnotized that you wouldn't do.
Of course.
Not under. So Joey's hypnotized me and he has made me relax, and
we've done some stuff. Yeah.
I would never open my doors to him because he's too close.
Well, it's something I get.
Most of my trauma is because of him. Anyway.
There you go. So he doesn't want to just open up and say, "Well, it's you, mother." But no, what's interesting with that, because a lot of people don't. Well, that's the number one question I get when people have, like, they book calls with me to see if they want to work with me and they want to see, they want to. I give free calls to people who want to do the one-on-one.
Yeah, don't be afraid of getting hypnotized because.
No. What I'm saying, Dad, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Is what I'm saying is a lot of people ask, what if, have you ever had people that it hasn't worked on? And I go, yeah, family and good friends, because there's a wall.
Forget it.
And there's no point. Why would you ever want to open up to your dad? Why would you ever want to open up to your son? You're not going to want to open up to someone who knows you that deeply.
I couldn't.
No, and it's something. But it's one thing. I get out of school, I'm excited. I'm like, Dad, let's do this. This. Look what it's done for me. I've grown so much. I've released so much trauma, and I've processed all this. And it's like, you want to help as many people as you can. And who are the first people you want to help? It's family. But you realize quick is like, well, there's just so much resistance around that opening up to someone like that. But it's interesting because I remember we rented a few cabins for, a week at a time with the kids and our family. And we've had some little excursions and time away with family. And it's one thing I was like, geez, Dad, just let go, have some fun, relax. But I catch myself doing the same thing. And, it's like, there's a generational tie there. I think there's a pattern that kind of keeps, and I see that a lot with my clients. There's patterns that keep repeating unless they are processed. And I had no idea.
Yeah. You have to explain to your people what I do and how demanding it is when it's go time, right?
Right.
So I have a hard time taking holidays in the middle of the summer. I'm in real estate, some of you may know. And when the phone rings, you have to have text messages, phone calls. And my phone is glued to me always. And it sucks. I know I'm bad. I'm really hooked to my phone. So. But
I don't think it's even that. I'm not calling you out on your phone being attached to your hip. And I'm not even calling you out on anything. I've seen you it almost, and this isn't the attack or anything. I just know that there's parts of you that don't allow yourself to enjoy whatever it is you're doing. And we've talked about this. And I know it's trauma. There's always stuff. Like, we all have stuff, right? It's not, we all have shit. We all have trauma we haven't processed. A lot of us have stuff we don't even know we haven't processed yet.
No, I don't.
Right. But it's one of those things. It's interesting how we can, get psyched up about an adventure or some travel. And I've seen it in myself over the years more and more, is I'll get so excited about something and then I'll be in it and I won't allow myself to be presently in it and just enjoy being there, the process of what we're doing, always kind of in my head, or not allowing myself to have the fun or have that moment. So it's so interesting because a lot of this is generational, and a lot of it might not even be yours. It might have been grandpa's and his dad's passed down and passed down and passed down until that cycle is broken.
It's somebody else's fault.
Basically is what I'm saying. Another bad joke. We'll keep going.
I couldn't go all night, but no.
What else have we got? What else do you want to talk about? You used to talk to me about the 70s, how different those were.
Best time ever to grow up. It was free. There was a lot less rules and regulations. It was before participation medals. It was when you went out and did your best. And if you didn't cut it, you'd try something else that you really had. And nowadays, I think you're probably the last generation. You grew up in it.
Yeah, I did.
You made the hockey team, or you didn't make the hockey team, or you've never received a participation medal. It's what makes a person stronger is failure, right?
Yeah.
And I look at what is coming around, and I don't want to sound like that, but it's scary. And there's a lot of weakness out there, I think.
Yeah, and it's so funny because the space that I'm in, obviously I'm all about love and positivity and everything else, and it is what I like to talk about most. But it is a time like no other to see how, man, it's even hard to put words to it. Like, what's the most frustrating thing to you about what you see? Is it just like that we're handed everything, that we all think we're equal, even though I guess I get what we're all equal, but at the same time, like there's a lot of messed up stuff out there, in my opinion.
One word: entitled.
Yeah.
I'm old school. I'm redneck. Very conservative.
You're not that redneck. Jeez.
Redneck, though. I mean, when it comes to my way, I'm conservative.
Yeah, you're conservative.
I'm right wing. Yeah, I'm middle of the road, right wing. I'm not ultra fanatical, but I am not left wing.
Right.
And when I speak, I don't want to get political.
No, but to me, it's not even. Yeah, I get what you mean. It doesn't have to be necessarily political. I just think, like, I'm a lot more conservative than I am liberal, but I'm also have a lot of liberal views too. It's not one or the other for me. It can't be. There's no way. It doesn't make sense. And I don't know how anybody can go one or the other. There's got to be something from both. And
well, you're middle of the road. You see both sides, but to the right.
But because to me, it's just more about, a lot of it is values, I guess, and working hard, and I guess that. But the left, the agenda of left, what I've seen lately is so weird to me. It doesn't resonate with me. I would have never considered myself a conservative 5 years ago. But as I've grown, like, I don't consider myself anything. I think all politicians are completely just sociopaths anyway. I don't trust any of them, no matter which side they play or pretend they are.
It's getting harder and harder to believe in and trust
anyone.
Politicians.
Anyone. Well, politicians and big corporations and pharmaceutical companies and everything else, and that whole mix, because it's all the same.
It's all tied together.
Yeah, so that's really hard. But yeah, to see sport being so strange. There's so many things in sports that are happening lately I don't even want to touch on, but it's just a weird time. Like, some of the hardest days of my life were getting cut from sports teams, right? Like, I remember the day I got cut from my AAA hockey team. Like, there's a wound there. That hurt. That sucked. But I grew from that. I knew I had to work my butt off. That summer I worked the hardest I've ever worked. It was something to be said about that hard work and wanting that.
I want to say you had the talent. Guaranteed, your mindset wasn't there. You weren't ready. You weren't ready for it. And there's nothing you can do about that. If there was a magic pill, I would have given it to you, but your anxiety took over, and then you started doubting yourself, and then you sucked.
Yeah. Okay, that really went.
Well, after you let all that happen, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's something too. I never really learned, and I never understood mindset at that age. I never had the books. I'm sure they were out there. There wasn't YouTube.
That followed you for years after that. Again, I mean, that doubt, that.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It followed you till you started straightening up a few years back.
Well, it was part of. I think it's older than just this lifetime too. There's a lot of stuff from my past that really, that mindset is everything. And now that I understand my trauma and healing and all the stuff that's happened and how that can affect you, I was really, really not mentally strong enough to do what
we were about ready to have you committed somewhere.
Oh, Jesus.
Close.
Oh my God.
Okay, 3. I'm done.
It's so bad. Like I should have.
How else is a dad going to do
I'm
this?
I'm gonna have to put in the description a warning how horrible these things are.
I bet you the 5 people that are listening are laughing.
This is so brutal. I'm so glad I had you on. I should have just.
Am I done now?
I think you can go at any time now.
You want me to go now?
No, but did you ever learn about that? Like mental toughness when it comes to sports?
No, there was no learning. You grew up in school. If you misbehave, you better be tough enough to take what's coming. Because we did have in elementary school that did rule with a ruler, a yardstick.
Yeah.
And we got whacked. And so you learned respect real fast, which doesn't exist today.
Right.
So it was bad, but it wasn't bad.
I know. I get it. Because
I know there's a happy medium. There were some good beatings, I'll tell you.
Wow. And it's one of those things like, when I became a father, it was one of those things where I'm not hitting my kids. I'm not hitting my kids, and I don't. But it's like I look back and it's like, you hear it's like, you never got a whooping as a kid, and it sure shows. You hear those things and all these things, and the respect that came with it. And I'm not saying beating your kids was okay, but a spanking, I don't know. Like you gave me a smack in the ass when I was a kid. My whole generation got a whooping, not beat up.
Not whoopings, but
no.
They got smacked on the ass. Yeah.
And it is interesting.
I mean, I know there's some parents out there that, like dads that use the belt and mom that used the wooden spoon. I think mom took the spoon out a few times for you guys, more to scare you.
Wow. Mom's 4'11" and about 80 pounds. So
at the time, yeah.
It's like Mighty Mouse coming at you, it's just whatever. I mean,
she scared you.
I don't know if she scared me, but yeah, it was. She'd come me with that. I think what scared me most was the Tabasco sauce that she jammed down.
Still scares me.
Yeah. After a couple glasses, I'm not getting that in her way. It's the Tabasco. I think the Tabasco scared me more.
Oh yeah, right.
She just put it on her finger and she'd jam her finger and she just jammed the damn bottle in my mouth when I swore or whatever.
You want to say that again? You're going to say that again?
Yeah, that was basically her.
Yeah, I remember that. That's cool.
Kate was saying they don't even have detention in our schools anymore. They have no consequences and they just run amok. Yeah. So and I can see that.
I just saw Kate. Yeah, I see. How come I see that now?
Because I just put it on the, so I can select the comments that I see on my. Yeah. So, I feel like I truly grew up in one of the last generations of our kind in school.
I was trying to, in my poor way, that's what I was trying to explain. Right?
But it's true.
You were probably that.
Yeah. That Gen X, is it Gen X? I think we're referred to. Yeah. Because the 90s were the 90s and the early 2000s was the last time that we had no smartphones. Smartphones, I think, came around 05, 06-ish until they started to dominate the landscape. That was a big thing.
Yeah, we had moved to where we live now, when smartphones started. And we text using that T9. T9.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, that was, wow. But it was after 2003 when we moved here. I got my first phone. And, ever since then, things have gone to shit. Because you see people my age, kids in school that are yay high, walking down the street.
I know.
Like this.
We're just as bad, right?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I know.
And,
so am I. Yeah.
Oh, and I'm bored. I sit in my chair and go on Facebook or
of course.
God knows what else. YouTube, I'm a huge. I have things that I'm interested in, but
I know
there's no more conversation.
Yeah.
There's no more respect. Like Kate said, there's no consequences.
There's no consequences.
No detention. I had detention, and never my fault, but I got caught up with the gang, right? So
Jeez.
And yeah, man, I'm scared.
Yeah.
I don't need to sound like that doomsday guy. I don't think the end of the world, Ukraine, Russian thing, is not the first war we've seen since you've been born.
Sure.
Been dozens of them, but this one, sudden. But the nice thing about that is COVID's gone.
COVID's gone, yeah. No, it's. I don't think it's necessarily not you being a doomsday guy. It's. I know what you mean. It's an end of a way things were, and
I'm so glad I grew up when I did.
So did I. So do I.
And I would not want to. I feel anxious for your kids, right?
Wow.
They're going to grow up in a totally different, unless you keep them in Costa Rica on the beach and surfing. And
well, and that's a huge part of our responsibility too, is what we choose to allow them to experience, I guess, too, because there's so much polarity. There's so many different landscapes and rules, different parts of the U.S. Look how different parts of the U.S. are. You know, Canada's different. Canada, we're kind of under the same shit umbrella of one kind of, it's kind of a mess. It's not as diverse as the U.S. You from the East, the U.S. is so different in every state. I don't think a lot of the U.S. understand how it's not like that in Canada. Like province to province, there's some differences, but it's basically the same. For the most part, it's not like Florida and California. It's not like
Canada is more like west, east.
Yeah.
You draw that big line down somewhere around Thunder Bay, Ontario, Kenora, Ontario, and west, and then you go east, and that separation is becoming bigger and bigger. And it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not talking civil war separation, but it's going to be.
Yeah, but civil war, I don't think even the word war is going to ever be the same. The war is being fought in information. The war is being fought. I think we've been at war for a long time. I think it's information, misinformation, right? The liberal agenda, this agenda, that,
and no one knows what to believe.
No, well, should
I listen to CNN tonight, or go on my phone and listen to Independence News,
right? Or RT,
who's stretching the truth which way, right?
I know.
In the last 2 weeks, I have not listened to anything about Russia, Ukraine, or COVID. And you know what?
I know.
Amazing. Yeah. I don't spend my days worrying about who's thinking what, or watching my friends' posts on Facebook about getting their 15th jab or booster and getting mad at them, because I'm not vaxxed, and I don't care if you are or you are or you are. Kate is the only person I've seen here. Is she the only one watching?
No, I haven't put anybody up here. There's another question for you, but I'll put that on after. But we don't have to answer this question right now because I'm sure you have a smart answer.
Rachel, I don't have my glasses on, so I read.
She says, "I have a question for Hubert. What makes you most proud of Joey?"
Could have warned me about that question.
Wow.
Could have prepared.
No. Yeah. How do I sound? How do I sound good? How do
I make this sound? No, I think it's what Joey's done in the past. How many years now, Joey? 3, 4?
I've been a hypnotherapist for 4 this year, and kind of been on social media for the last, 3. Maybe.
Joey's got his head straight. I think while he was a guard at one of the maximum security penitentiaries here in Manitoba, and suffered post-traumatic stress. He's probably explained all that to you guys, but he was messed up, and I think what helped him is hypnotherapy. And when he saw what that did for him, he says, "God, I can do this, and I can help people." And I think it's gone very well. I'm very proud of how he got out of correction, out of that shithole.
Yeah.
Pardon my French. But and moved on and took the leap, left a great he left great salary,
Sure.
pension plan, benefits, the whole spiel. And his wife did also. They worked. And a lot of their coworkers envy them, and they're probably a little jealous that they were strong enough to do it, doing it, not knowing what the future held. And here we are. And that's what I'm proud of Joey for that. Otherwise, not so much.
There it is. Waiting for it. It is one of those things where, like, that place is, you do get taught, conditioned that what is a good job, what is a good career, and what you need, what you should have. It's like, whoa, find that 6-figure salary and the benefit package, and find that, pension plan and all these things. Oh, you work for the federal government. Oh, you got a good job, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, you got a good pension. Cool.
And, you get caught up in it, and you get it, and you're like, wow, I made it. But that's the thing about when you start to develop your inner wisdom, or you start listening to your soul.
You froze up on me there, but maybe not for everyone.
No, I don't think it's for everyone. I think it's just here. But one of those things, when you start to develop that inner that connection with your soul, you start to realize what resonates and what doesn't, what's worth it and what's not, where you're hurt and where you're not. And, with the stuff you see in prison, I mean, geez, man, like the violence, the savagery of it's just unbelievable. And you get numb to it. You see it every day. Maybe not every day.
Or you numb yourself.
Yeah, we've done that. We've talked about using alcohol, or, anybody in law enforcement, any first responder, the statistics aren't good. They're not good when it comes to substance abuse and divorce rate or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a lot there. But it was one of those things where I just knew for a while, and I took the leap, and, but all these little moments that happened leading up to that happened. When I started, I had to get dark night of the soul and my depression and all the really bad times in my life to happen in order to rip me open, for me to trust that to get to there. But that was very nice, Dad. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, that's the truth, and I'm glad you're out of there. You worried us, right? And I know you didn't tell me a third of what you saw and went on. And
no.
I'm proud of you for leaving and being out of there. That's all.
And I'll go back to, I want to kind of circle back a little bit about all the media and all the information and the it's just, you can't blame people for just saying, fuck it, I'm just going to believe this. I mean, you can and you can't. I mean, it is what it is. You're going to choose what you want to believe, what you want to do with that. But there's so much information. There's so much stuff out there. I think that is the most important reason for us right now in these times to develop your gut. Maybe not your gut, your intuition, and however that works for you. And to trust that. Because you can go ahead and choose one thing and find 1,000 articles that proves it right. And if you decide to go against whatever that is, you can find 1,000 articles that prove that's right. So it's so important right now for us to develop that connection with our soul. That's why I meditate. That's why I exercise. And that's why I do, that I started journaling a ton lately. I do those things so I can start to so I don't have to worry about what everybody else says. I'm like, no, this is what resonates. This is what I'm like, nope, this doesn't feel right. What this guy on TV is saying doesn't feel right. It does not make sense to me. And then I'll go a little deeper maybe on it, and I'll go, okay. And there's some very strong beliefs I have with what's been happening and in the world. But it also comes back to me having kind of an influence online. Like, what do I want to share? Do I want to share like, this is bullshit, this guy's this and this guy's that? Or do I want to share how I'm more effective, how I'm more of an influence? Develop this, meditate a little bit, do this, use this practice, find that. Anyways, there's never been a more important time than now to develop that soul connection, so that when you get the information, you can go, nope, that doesn't feel right, or yeah, okay, there's something here. Because man, what a time to be alive with the information that we get thrown, shoved down our throats, right?
Yeah, I just find it sometimes better off just to shut it off and clear your head.
Oh, you
take
are.
a walk.
Go outside.
Get some air.
Look,
Yeah.
there's something to be said. Like a lot of, I don't want to be misinformed. What is the one of the favorite things I hear all the time when I say just shut your media down, all of it. Definitely shut the TV off, because I mean anything. Shut the fucking TV off completely. Anything you get from the mainstream sources, I wouldn't even bother. And everything that you get from your 6 o'clock news, your noon news, your AM news.
Well, that's all mainstream.
Lower, yeah, but it's all lower vibrational information that just gets drilled into you for you to feel sad, angry, bitter, blah, blah, blah.
How come nobody's ever started up a good news channel?
I mean, you can find it.
It doesn't sell, right?
Well, it's not going to be news.
But no, you got to think. And shit.
No one likes to see misery and shit, but that's what keeps people in a lower vibration. I believe there's much more there. It's division and hatred. People who come together, you can't stop unity. You can't stop unity. You really can't. So if you were to show all the good news and us giving us tips to get healthy and tips to come together and tips to, here's a way where we can positively affect this, you wouldn't be able to control people. And there's a huge piece of this is control. Yeah. Good news. There's good news everywhere. You just got to find the right people to follow online. But you're kind of guilty too, like when it comes to news. I'll call you sometimes, and I can hear the the evening news on with the same repeated.
No, not me.
Yeah, man.
Just for the weather. It's the weather.
The weather. That's accurate too, right? That's really accurate.
They nail it sometimes. Hey, listen. My fee schedule was set for an hour, and you're at time.
You're at 57 minutes. So
before you get boring, I am going to pull out and say bye.
I'm gonna go here. Choice of words are interesting, but anyways, yeah, you go ahead. I'm gonna stay on with everybody here. So,
okay.
Thanks for hanging out, Dad. That was fun.
Be patient, guys.
Yeah, we're gonna edit out. Should we edit out the jokes? We gotta leave them up there. I'll tag you.
And do that? Can you edit?
Never. This show is unedited. It'll always stay that way.
Okay.
So,
I try not to do any bad jokes, but
let's see if you're able to log off here without your phone falling.
Hey, just curious. Like, am I famous? How many people were listening?
We had about 30 to 40, but we might get a few hundred there on YouTube that come and watch it later.
Awesome.
Yeah. People are saying, "Thanks, Dad. That was awesome. Thanks, Hubert."
I do the e-signature for autographs and shit. So.
Oh my God! Just go.
Okay, I'm done.
Press the X. Press the X.
Where? That one?
Just find it.
Bye.
Just find it and hit it.
I love it.
Double tap it. I don't care. Like, unplug it. Jeez. Oh, we forgot the 2 closing questions. We definitely did. Wow. That was my dad panicking, though, I think, what happened there. I think he's like, I got nothing else. That was the first raw and real for sure, right? Oh, well, we didn't get my final 2 questions, but yeah. Gosh, when you have I knew dad coming on was going to be interesting, because when you have family on, you're gonna have triggers, you're gonna have emotion, you're gonna have these moments, and you can see it with my dad too, and it's really cool to see him kind of, because yeah, I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was big for me. I was really excited for that, and maybe I'll have my dad on again. Maybe I'll have my mom on. I don't think she'll ever come on. Maybe my brothers. I think it's cool. You should have him on again. Yeah. You should tell us your answers to your questions. Oh, okay. Damn. So if you're new here, you know that I ask the final 2 questions every night, which are one, to be vulnerable. The first one is to be vulnerable, something vulnerable about myself. And the second one is what does it mean to be alive for me? So I think that's a pretty good one to kind of put me on the spot there. Brenna, thank you. Something vulnerable about myself. There's a couple things I'll share. I really still struggle with worthiness when it comes to doing what I'm doing and moving forward in what I'm doing. And that came up huge this last night. And actually it was healing around my dad and my relationship with him, which has been really good my whole life. But I was having a conversation with a friend, and there was a young version of me, an inner child part of me, a wounded part of me that came out last night, 24 hours before going live with my dad, funny enough, right? And it was stuff that I never thought I had pain around. And I'm seeing this part of my dad in myself with my son. And it's not evil, it's not dark, it's not anything like that. But it was a part of me that was wounded, that always wondered why I wasn't seen this way. And I freaking bawled my eyes out last night. And I was like, where did this come from? And the subconscious has this beautiful way of presenting you exactly what you need at the right time when you're ready to heal it. So being seen as a kid, even as, my family was tight, we did a lot, we were fine. My dad and I have a great relationship. I consider him my best friend. I never thought there was any wounding around that relationship, but there was. And a lot of it comes from results in me not feeling worthy and seen. I don't know if I explained myself very well there, but I didn't expect to go there. Thank you. So there's still parts of me I'm working on. I think all of us are working on that kind of stuff. Am I confident all the time? Hell no. I love making videos, but most of those videos that I make are to me. Like, so many of the videos I make, probably my best ones are the ones that I'm just like speaking from my soul to myself, to the human version of me. And I love doing that stuff. But a lot of it, I'm not always there. I'm not always strong. I'm not always confident. But I'm learning a lot about my human design being a generator and how important finding joy is for me. If you don't know much about human design, I suggest diving into that or finding someone who knows about it, because I have many friends, Brenda being one of them, who always helps me with my human design and how important that is, what your profile is and what you are. And as a generator, one of the biggest things for me is finding joy. When I find joy, when I make joy my priority in my life, in my day, that's where my inspiration comes from. And I think it's for, like, a lot of us are like that. But when I get caught up in the conditioning of having to grind and do no matter what, if I'm feeling like shit, getting stuff done, I'm not good. Like, I don't get stuff done. I get scattered. I'm all over the map. But when I find joy, when that's my number one priority as a generator, is finding joy, stuff that lights me up, then all the other stuff gets done. The list is done. So I still struggle, not every day, but a lot of that with self-worth and imposter syndrome and all these things as I continue to grow, because I have massive dreams and ambition to be, I want to speak to thousands of people. I want to inspire more people. I want to be a face of love and unity. I want to be someone who continues to inspire people and by just leading with an open heart and a vulnerable soul, I guess. So that's a little bit of vulnerability. And what does it mean for me to be alive? What does alive mean for me is alignment. Is to continue to listen to what my soul desires and then honoring that and not choosing fear, not a lot. And we all have fear, but finding a way to lessen that fear every time and continue taking steps. It's about its growth, its expansion on a soul level. To me, this whole experience is a spiritual game. And once you get solid in that spiritual foundation of who you are and what you are, the physical parts just kind of, it's like a video game. It all falls into place. You get to different levels and it gets more fun and more exciting. That's what being alive for me is. And it's helping people. It's getting the messages, these random DMs from some guy in Ireland, or, some 16-year-old kid telling me that video just made them realize something they could never see before. It's leading with my heart, but it's doing the things I love to do at the same time. It's jumping out of planes, and it's traveling the world, and it's having deep conversations on WhatsApp, and it's raising my kids. It's seeing my kids, and having Max go on. He said to me tonight, we made a TikTok video today, and it's so beautiful. I never told him what to say, and after he's like, "Wouldn't it be cool if I could do what you do? We could do it together." That's fucking wild. So today was a moment I'll never forget. Him saying that to me. If he could do what I do, and if we can do it together. So that feels pretty good. Yeah, so that's a good one. My kids will always pull on the heartstrings, but he made his first TikTok, and he goes to me, "How many followers do I have?" I said, "Max, you have 150 likes." He's like, 150? He's telling my daughter, he's like, "Callie, I got 150 subscribers." Because he watches YouTube sometimes, and he's like, "I got 150 subscribers." And I'm like, man. So that was cool. And he was super stoked. And so that's what being alive for me is. It's continuous expansion, and just trying to be the best leader I can with the people around me and the people who follow me. And I'm not fucking perfect, but working every day. So yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks, Brett. Put me on the spot like that. That was super cool. If you haven't seen my son's video, it's on my reels on Instagram and on my TikTok. If you want to just check that out, it's pretty awesome. He's awesome. You got to go see the video, because he's like, I'm like, "What's your message?" My message is for the beautiful world, or the love of the world. And hey guys, just wanted to say the world is beautiful, and I love you guys. You guys are the best. And that was it. I was like, what? This is so cool. Anyway, next week, we'll be back on Wednesday again. It's right now it's tentative, just because it is the day before I leave. So I'm supposed to definitely have Jillian on from HPP Lot. Jillian is supposed to be on next week. I'm going to let you know for sure if it's on. We should be live next Wednesday again, but it is the day before I leave to go back to Canada from Costa Rica. So if there are some things, I'll make people know. I'll let people know on my on my Instagram feed and my TikTok. So thanks for hanging out. That was a lot of fun. Didn't expect this to go that way, but I love you guys, and I'll always be open and raw and vulnerable. It's one of, I think, our superpowers as human beings, as we continue to heal ourselves and heal the world. And I don't know. Yeah. Thank you so much. See ya. Oh, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube. Don't mess around. Go subscribe to my YouTube. Like the videos and do the things. Go check out my links too. I really appreciate that. And if you ever feel like you would be a good fit on my show, you could always DM me. I'm always looking for people who just want to come and chill and hang out. It's just deep, cool conversation. If you think you'd have fun on this, let's do it. Vulnerability is a superpower. Absolutely. Love you too, Lindsay. Okay, cheers. Love you guys.